Hi, guys.
What's
Hi, ladies.
up?
Everybody looks so pretty today. I missed you
Yay.
guys.
I never missed you.
So, but anyways, let's get this kicked off because we have a rather interesting one that we're gonna do. But before we get into that, maybe we could just catch up a little bit and talk about what's been going on.
Yeah, cheese. What do you have going on, hon? Well, other than the news that I think that you're going to bring up, I have been dealing with a little bit of health stuff with my daughter and me, and I'd say the good news that came out of it is that I had set an appointment for Addie to go to a GI doctor. Unfortunately, while it was touted as such on my health insurance, where you look for doctors of type, it actually ended up being a family doctor. So Jason, she and I had gone to this family doctor who was awesome, but couldn't really help get to the bottom of what was going on with Addison. But the good news was that Jason had a little time to kill while we tried to search to see if we could get in with another GI quickly, and he fixed my Wi-Fi for me. So thank you, ex-husband, because it was a mess. It was a mess of like I had Google Nest, I had like a Wi-Fi extender. He's like, "What is going on here?" And I was like,
Because
"I just need your help." So it was like, I mean, especially like the single world, like paying the bills and doing all the stuff yourself is not what it's all cut out to be when it comes down to having like a partner at some time. So it was very nice of him
yeah, that's
to
awesome.
help me fix my Wi-Fi.
Thank you, Jason.
Obviously, yep. And obviously I'm devastated about the news, but I won't go into that. Tony, what's up with you, girl?
Girl, I am looking forward to actually, not looking forward to it, but I mean, I'm packing Josh, right? So we're getting ready to do the Cal Poly stuff. I guess I am looking forward to it. I'm excited for him, but I'm not looking forward to the sadness that I'm going to be feeling. But yeah, no, that part is exciting stuff. And then the other thing is the shout out because Sue was in town for a short time,
That's
and
right.
I get to hug my other queen and then also hang out with the rest of the queens, the OG Vici gals.
Yep.
And they had a little pop up that's going to go on from September to October, end of October. So we got to pop on over to Vici and sip a little champagne, do a little shopping. And we even got some awesome stuff in a swag bag too.
That's
So
right.
I don't know. I had fun. What do you think, Sue? I enjoyed it.
No, it was so much fun. So anyone in the Bay, it's in Walnut Creek, the old Louis Vuitton store across from Nordstrom's. Go in there. The girls are amazing. They're so sweet. And Tony and I, Cheese, we both have the same sweatshirt we think you might need to purchase.
You need to get one.
Yes. Okay.
Shoot, I'll have to
A
flash.
la
I'll take a
carte.
picture of it and I'll put it up.
Yeah.
It's
A la
called
carte. A la
It's
carte.
cute, it's black, it's a black, like, sweatshirt type thing with, like, little pearls that are in the words, and it says, "Excuse my
Excuse
French."
my French. And it's
Yes,
all
it's
pearls.
so freaking
Cute.
cute. We'll have to get you one, and then we'll all 3 wear it at the same time all at the
Love
time.
it. I
Yeah.
love it. I came in and Tony's like, "I have this sweatshirt." I'm like, "Oh, I already bought that one sitting at my house."
So I said, "Well, now we just have to get cheese to get one."
That's right. That's
Yep.
right. So,
Awesome.
yeah, it was good to see you, Tone, of course, in person.
Yes, was.
So, yeah, I just want to take a little moment to acknowledge the heaviness that's been on my heart for the past few weeks, starting with the mass shooting in the church, Minneapolis. And then for whatever reason, it wasn't until I was going to Aspen that, I do Instagram and I saw the footage of the young Ukrainian girl, Irina, who was stabbed. I couldn't even believe I was watching it just in full. What am I even
Yeah.
watching?
It
Broke
felt like
my
a
heart.
a movie, like you feel like you're watching a movie.
Yeah, and I think I travel a lot on public transportation by myself too, and it's like, holy shit, like this was terrible, terrible. So then I was in San Francisco having lunch with my mom when the news of Charlie Kirk's assassination hit, and that one left me deeply shaken and heartbroken because I was a fan of his. I listened to his podcast and Spotify every week, followed him on Instagram. I just keep thinking it's a bad dream and that I didn't see what I saw last week. It's just been really tough. And so my heart goes out to all the families, all the communities grieving. These senseless acts of violence are awful. I've been praying, obviously, for Erica Kirk, her sweet children. And I don't believe hatred has any place in our world. And if you know me, I don't carry an ounce of hatred in my heart, even for those who've like tried to hurt me terribly. I've never used that word. And what I do is I just pray for them. So I just truly feel that no one should ever lose their life because of who they are, what they believe. And this isn't about politics, it's about humanity. So, as we talk today, I want this space to stay grounded in love and compassion and remembering our shared humanity rather than giving into the hate. So, that's all I wanted to say about that.
think that's a beautifully said. There is does seem to be a huge detachment from, just having conversation, but I think I leave it at that. You had that very well said, Sue.
Thanks,
Very well
hon.
said.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a tough
Yeah.
one for a lot of us.
Violence in any case, anybody's life that gets impacted by it. Just like energy, when you do bad energy or good energy, it just goes out, it spreads out. And even like people, pass from violence. You guys know that my sister passed from a senseless act of violence as well. So it's near and dear to my heart, no matter what race, color, religion, who you are, what politics you believe in. None of that is acceptable at all.
Right.
So I hear you, my
So,
friend.
all right. Well, with that said, welcome back to Who's Sitting at Your Table. And today's episode is one that's close to my heart and my pelvis. That's right.
I love
We're
it.
talking about my hysterectomy journey and the recovery and what I learned as a type A woman who's very in tune to her body.
Yep, and not just medical stuff. We're digging into mindset shifts it takes when you're used to pushing through everything.
Yeah, and just because you can stand, walk, or lift doesn't mean you should. And today's Sue's breaking that all down.
Yep, we're going to be talking about pain, supplements, the emotional side, and why following the doctor's orders was the smartest thing I could have done, even when it killed me to sit still for 6 weeks. And let's not forget all the things the doctors may not tell you. I'm here to shed some light and help, or at least I hope this will help you and your friends and your moms and your sisters and your girlfriends moving forward. So let's get to it.
Yeah. So tell us why you had to have this major surgery, Sue.
Yeah. So, at first I had no idea what was going on because about 4 years ago, I had a cyst burst, which was level about 11 pain for 7 hours. So the same pain occurred again last fall, but it happened one night and then it happened a whole entire next day and then the whole entire next day after that. And so I thought, well, this is kind of weird. Like, do I have multiple cysts bursting? No idea. Right. So I went in for an ultrasound and it just showed some fluid, really nothing. And so then my doctor wanted me to get into an OBGYN, which I did not have one here in Texas the past 8 years. So one thing I learned was if you don't have a doctor already established, it could take 5, 6 months. And so that stressed me out. And my doctor pulled strings unbeknownst to me. So I kind of thought, well, I'm feeling better. I'm just going to ignore it. And I felt like I couldn't get into the doctor. I was a little frustrated. So then a few weeks after that, I woke up, not to be too graphic, but like I woke up, I thought I like peed myself, but I bled out in a hotel. And that, of course, scared me. So I'm like, okay,
Gosh,
what? I'm not even going to put this off. I don't care what it takes. I'm just going to start calling the doctors again. And that's when I found out my doctor had pulled some strings to get me in. So, long story
gosh,
short, I got in. I tried to go in for a biopsy. That was not successful. And it was right before Thanksgiving. And I ended up getting diagnosed with PAS. It's a post ablation syndrome. And so the crazy thing is, no one knows what this is. I've asked all my doctor
I was
friends.
gonna say, tell me more about that. Yeah,
Yeah. No one knows. I've never heard of it. I had
gosh,
to do research. Basically had an ablation procedure, I don't know, almost 2 decades ago. And so it can happen after these ablations. And what happens is the scar tissue forms inside the uterus and it just blocks the flow of stuff. So I think I had too much scar tissue build up. And so everything was just trapped in my uterus and it can cause the pain, it can cause the bleeding. It's hard to diagnose. I didn't even find out till honestly a month before my surgery because my doctor wanted to do his own ultrasound. And then he's like, oh, this is what you have. And I'm like, okay, well, I've never heard of it. And so I felt like my body had like a little fluid baby. Like I was bloated 24/7 because my uterus was full. So yeah, so that was interesting.
oh,
Yeah. So
yeah. So
post-depleted syndrome.
yeah. That's I've never heard of that, and I'm sure a lot of people are tuning in. Hopefully, are 3 followers, as we always crack up and say. But seriously, that's kind of scary. Tell me, how was your mindset? I mean, were you afraid? Were you stressed? What were your expectations, if any, of all this?
Yeah, no. So ironically, I was in Guatemala for Thanksgiving when I got the call from the nurse saying that the biopsy didn't work and that I need a hysterectomy. And I just kind of like went white and pale. And my friend sitting there she knew what was going on. She's like, it's okay. It's okay. So I got off the phone. She gave me a big hug. We've all been through it. You're going to be fine, and explained everything to me, put me at ease. I said, well, I'm going to text my mom. She's like, no, you're going to call your mom. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm going to call my mom.
Good,
Thank you
good
for
for
that.
her, man. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and so, they're all super supportive, and then I called mom and I said, "Hey, can you be my nurse?" And she's like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" So I told her, and so I was freaked out, of course, freaked out. That was not what I expected to hear. So then I started talking to friends. And also, they told me at the time the doctor who tried to do my biopsy did not want to do the surgery and that she wanted to refer me to her partner and that they wanted me to come in December after Thanksgiving to meet with that doctor just to consult, make sure I was comfortable because he's the specialist. So that told me this was more than just like a routine one. And yeah, hey, if you're recommending a better doctor, like kudos to that doctor, right? There's no ego involved. So okay, whatever we need to do. So then I did meet him. And so I started asking around and talking to friends, and come to find out this is more common than I ever knew. And I found a lot of women, friends of mine, had all been through it, and they all said the same thing, that they felt like $1 million. They wish they had done it 10 years sooner. So that definitely put my mind at ease
It's interesting that
after.
you had so many friends who not only with you consoling you when you found out, but also who could put your mind at ease. I don't know that I have a lot of friends who've gone through that, but we might not have talked about it before, so maybe
Right.
there's more out there than I know.
Yeah, and I think that is the honest answer, just like we don't talk about menopause. So everyone's suffering silently. So I really feel it's something that our friends don't talk to us about. And so talk to each other about. So I hope by talking about it here live, people will learn and feel more comfortable. And so I had actually met with that doctor in December and he told me he's kind of busy the end of the year. I said, oh no, I can't do this till March 5th anyways. And he looked at me like, huh? Because I knew I couldn't fly for 6 weeks. It was in between Guatemala trips and my France trip. So I
You
literally
weren't going to give
planned
that
it.
shit up.
I remember you talking about this, and I know that I would have been, I'm canceling the trips. I would
Yeah.
have been like, trips can be gone. Like that, like I remember you working it all out.
But yeah, no, I literally came home from a wedding in Guatemala on a Sunday and had this Wednesday. And the crazy thing was everyone had the flu and COVID at the wedding and they didn't want to tell me because they were all nervous. They were praying that I was not sick. And I was, thank God I
My
was.
gosh.
Yeah, that was nuts. And as far as expectations, I did not know what to expect. I guess I just expected I was going to be helpless in bed for at least a week, not being able to do anything. But I could tell you, and I'll tell you that was definitely not the case. So
So, so what did your recovery feel like? Was it like you said wasn't really what you expected, or you didn't know what to expect? So it was a
no,
surprise. Like, how did it go down?
yeah, it was definitely a big surprise to me. So, and it was way easier than I thought. And here's my mom. She came out to be my nurse and to wait on me hand and foot. And that really didn't have to occur much at all. And so she was surprised too at how well I recovered. I mean, I took pain pills that afternoon. I came home and before bed and then never even took a Tylenol afterwards. And so I'd say the worst part was the CO2 gases coming out. I've never had a surgery like this. So they blow your body up with CO2 and the pain comes out like on the back of your shoulders and it's just
Wow.
achy. And so someone had told me about that, thank goodness, because I would have been like, what the hell's going on my back? And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
I put the heating pad on my back, and then I put I took their little ice pack bag and I put that on my belly 24/7, off and on my belly. I have I had everything prepped, which really didn't need to do that either. And you're only allowed to walk from your room to the kitchen basically for the first couple weeks. And, I've had my share of surgeries over the years, but I think this one it's so unusual to recover from, at least for me, because I wasn't in pain, okay? I can't see anything, healing. And so I'm not in pain and I'm used to, you're used to feeling pain until you don't. Like if you break your foot or break your bone or whatever. And so because I didn't feel the pain, I couldn't see the pain, you feel, okay, well, I should be able to do whatever I want. But the doctors tell me, can't work out for 6 weeks, can't fly for 6 weeks, can't do this. But they don't tell you the why of it all, okay? They don't tell you why you can't do those things. And so the big why is because you are internally healing. And again, it's just bizarre because you're like, well, I, f- I, I feel like 100 million bucks, but I can't do anything. So you have to listen to your doctors because they need to explain maybe a little more detail that you are healing inside. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that afterwards.
Yeah. Well, everybody who's been listening knows Sue is a type A personality. I mean, she's the big time planner. Everything's in order. Everything's being prepared. I mean, we're talking about the travel queen that's totally got her agenda for the year. So, what did you do when you got the news? Obviously, what did you do to prepare for this surgery? I mean, for those people out there that may be going through something you're going through, may want to know, what did you do to prepare for this big surgery?
Yeah, so I one of the things I physically did to prepare was I prepped meals. I had tons of meals prepped, I had shakes prepped, but one of the things I did was research because again, the doctors really aren't telling you all the ins and outs. So I did research. There's a list of things like foods to avoid that'll make you gassier. So let's see here. I will read. I learned all about the teas. So I have my peppermint tea, dandelion tea, lemon ginger tea. Those are all anti-bloating teas. And I wanted to load up on food. So, for instance, stay away from carbonated drinks, stay away from the high fiber fruits and vegetables. So, stick to the cooked zucchini, carrot, spinach, white rice or sourdough, lean proteins, stuff like that. But let me tell you, I had a whole list of supplements. I'm going to find them here for you because this is what I did. I had it out, printed out on an 8x11 morning, noon, and night. So, for instance, we have my morning routine. I did a probiotic on an empty stomach. Then I did L-glutathione. That helps with healing and muscle recovery. Collagen supports the tissues and joint healing. I did protein shakes. I did creatine. My midday routine was omega-3 fish oil. That reduces inflammation and supports healing. My turmeric, which is a natural pain relief and inflammation control. Magnesium glycinate, yeah, helps with muscle relaxation, sleep. Did high protein foods. In the evening, I took a bulletproof coconut charcoal, which I happen to have a bunch of these already on hand. And then the bromelain, I did that at night. And then obviously a lot of electrolytes. I do the Ultima hydration. And so a lot of electrolytes. I didn't really have a big appetite. So what I would do is I would throw my protein powder in my teas. So like in my peppermint tea, I would throw
Yeah.
my chai protein powder in there. And that really, I feel like sticking to that helped because I figure it can't hurt. You know what I mean? Let's just be prepared. So I did a lot of research, preparation. So yeah, that's what I did.
Is there anything that you're doing now? Like, did you change it up at all? I'm wondering how many supplements or like shakes or whatever are you still taking now? Is
Yeah.
all of
So
it, or
now
did you kind of lean off of some of it?
Yeah, so I did the research. I don't really need to take the charcoal or the bromelain. I'm still doing a lot of the anti-inflammatory stuff, and that's for
Mhm.
another reason post hysterectomy. I found out I have, which is a common thing after a big surgery like this. Not everyone suffers from it, but I have a lot of inflammation in my belly. What's the word? Lymphatic fluid.
Oh,
You have a lot of lymph nodes in that area that was disrupted. So I do still take a lot of the anti-inflammatory stuff for sure.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And, what surprised you the most? Any don't do this moments or
Yeah, I mean, just because you feel okay doesn't mean your body is healed. And again, the doctors aren't telling you the why, which is so frustrating. So, for instance, I know in my doctor's room, there's a big electronic board because the first time I went in, the doctors threw up the anatomy and she can mark it up with a pen. So, the best way, and my friends always laugh at me when I try to describe, because here I am post op 3 weeks. Some of my best friends came to visit and we were walking around the lake and they're like, "Oh, what's going on down there?" And I'm like, "No clue." They're like, "Well, what do you have removed?" I'm like, "Everything." And they're like, "Okay, so how does that work, anatomically?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." So what I joke and say it's like an empty hallway, right? To nowhere. So what they did was they had to build a wall at the end of the hallway, like a little dead end hallway. So that's how I describe what they had to build. And that's what's healing And that's why it's so important not to do weights, not to overdo it because again, you can't feel this hallway being built, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's like a little
Mhm.
dead end hallway. So that's how I describe it. So people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you're a fitness lover and also what did you do? Because we laugh about it. You get up at the crack of dawn, you have your routine, your schedule, and you're working out. How hard was it for you to just chill? What did you do during that time, while you're healing?
Yeah, no, it was definitely hard, but I've learned over the years from different injuries and stuff that it's best to just chill the F out for those few weeks because the consequences could be way worse. And I think having the trip, my big France trip, that motivated me even more because I wanted to be able to like enjoy my trip.
Yeah, did you ever wanna sneak in a workout or vacuum? Like, I would get restless, even me.
Yeah, cheese. Of course, I wanted to work out. I wanted to work out so, so bad. You have no idea. I mean, but I have to be honest, the first 2 weeks, you're really tired. You have zero energy. It's like the life is sucked out of you. I sat on the couch with my mom and we binged something that she had already seen. It was super cute. And I can't remember what it is, but probably because I was so tired, but it was really good.
I thought you mentioned that you watched Love on the Spectrum.
No, no, no. That I introduced her to that years ago. No, we watched a cute series based in New York City. Yeah, I'll ask her. We'll figure out what it is. It was super cute. It was like 8 seasons, so it like took forever. And then every
Nice.
once in a while, I'd say, "Hey, mom, I'm just gonna go take a nap," and I'd just get up and take a nap for an hour and come back. So I did that for 2 weeks. And when I went in for my post-op, the doctor said I could just do walking, and so that's when I started walking. And I have a little fold-up treadmill, so I walked every day. And of course, I was bugging him, "Can I work out?" I actually had to go in at week 3 because my sneaky little incision was infected and was hurting me. And so I went in there and he like had to cut it. No, I know I could feel it. It felt like fish wire sticking out my stomach. I'm like, okay, this
Oh
is
God.
irritating me.
Oh,
I know. And it was just this little incision. So he cut that. Then when I went back at 6 weeks, so of course I asked him at week 3, can I do weights at week 4? He's like, no. And I'm like, so then at the 6 weeks, I didn't even have to ask him. Of course, he knew I was like chomping at the bit. He's like, okay, you can work out. And he's like, I would do half workout. I go, what is half workout? Like, what am I going to feel if I do full workout? And so I just did full workout with my trainer and went back to the club. But then I went right away to Europe. And then it was 6 weeks when I went back for that final follow up. My that same incision was causing me pain and it wasn't healing. And I said, hey, can you take a look? And he looked at it. He goes, oh, let me mess with it. I'm like, better you mess with it than I mess with it. Holy crap. That pain of him messing with my stitch, I was about to drop F bombs. I was like off the table. It's probably like a 15. And he messed with it to the point where then it ended up healing. And I said, you know what, doc, this is pretty funny. This has been the most excruciating part of the entire hysterectomy is that damn little incisions. But yeah, I got right back at it and I feel great. Yeah, I mean, I feel like $1,000,000. So I'm
that's
happy to be
awesome.
back in my workouts. And it was worth it because I had a good trip and I was healthy and bounced back pretty well. So yeah. So unfortunately, you can't always rely on the doctors to tell you everything, and some are better than others. It's not to say I didn't love my doctor. I really did like him and he was a great surgeon. And I've had other surgeries where pain pills stop you up and the ins and outs, but like this hysterectomy is definitely a different type of surgery that I've ever had to go through. And so you have to be your own advocate. I didn't even know how it worked. So I in the beginning they say it was laparoscopic. Okay, I think that means you go in through your belly or whatever. So it's 4 spots, belly button and 3 around the belly button. And I felt so silly and embarrassed, but I'm envisioning they're sucking your organs out through tubes, right? Because I don't know what that means. And it wasn't until a guy friend of mine, I was on the phone with him. I've known him for decades from San Francisco, and his wife had one. And I'm so confused. I just don't even know how these organs come out. And he had to tell me how they come out. And okay, that's embarrassing when a guy friend had to tell me how these organs come out. So it was pretty funny. But now I'm at 6 months post op, and around the 4.5 months, that's when I found out I have lymphatic fluid trapped in my stomach. And so I've been getting lymphatic massages and I've been getting acupuncture, but no one's telling you these things. So it's like, why am I bloated again? I thought my belly went flat for a couple months, and now it's like bloated again. And so I think because I'm so in tune I knew to take care of it. And I'm fortunate I have Zoe, my girl at the talks, and I have Judd, my acupuncture guy. And so between the two of them, they're helping me get this under control. So, and I'm feeling a lot better. I've been treating it for now about 2 months to get rid of this
That's
lymphatic
great.
fluid. Crazy. Yeah.
That's great. So, obviously I've had surgeries. I've had a lot of girl part issues, and 6 weeks doesn't surprise me. I really admire you and the planning that you did. I definitely feel you do have to be an advocate for your own health. So all of what you're saying rings true. I'm not going to lie, I don't know what happens. What did the guy friend tell you about the organ parts and stuff like that? Cuz I don't even know.
They go in laparoscopically with the 4 instruments, I suppose, and they think they like cut everything up and it just comes out your body. So my big thing was I said to the doctor, this all comes out while I'm knocked out on the table, right? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay, good. I didn't know if it came out later or whatever. So everything just comes out your body, just falls right
Wow.
out. Yeah. So I had no idea.
So how are you feeling today now that all this is going on? How long has it been, you said?
6 months. I feel
Oh,
great.
how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel like it is a work in progress now with this lymphatic stuff. I feel like that's better. And then because I don't have ovaries, I have like 0 estrogen. And so tomorrow, when I go in for my NAD infusion, I'm going to talk to my doctor about getting on the patch, which, I thought I could just do this all naturally, but I feel like there's some things that the estrogen patch is going to help me with. And I feel like it's something I can try. Worst case, I don't like it, I take it off. But I'm going to try that starting hopefully tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. And yeah, no, I feel great. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it was easy. There's people I know who have didn't listen to the doctors and started working out at 2 weeks, and that set them back months. So it's like it's really important to just chill the f out and do nothing. Like
I think that is amazing advice. I've definitely had surgeries where I didn't follow that 6 weeks of rest, and I feel like I paid for it. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, no, it's yeah, and like I said, again, it's just one of those surgeries. You don't feel the pain, you don't see the pain, you don't see the healing. So you're like, well, why can't I do this? And the doctor's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you're healing. They're just like, well, you're healing, but you're healing something major because somehow they're in there taking, I don't know what they use. I have no idea how they built my little dead end hallway. Like, I have no idea what they did to build that wall. I have no idea where they got the materials from. So wherever it came from, it had to come from something in my body. And that's just, that's what takes so long to heal. So yeah, but I feel great. I've been on some peptides and for inflammation now, so that should be helping with my lymphatic stuff as well. So yeah, and I've been sharing my story, sharing my notes. I have a whole file full of stuff I've already sent it off to like 2 other women since I had my surgery to kind of help them. Since I already did all the work, I just saved it in a hysterectomy file for them too. So I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I came out the other end in good shape.
Yeah, I'd say if anybody is listening and has a looming hysterectomy or wants to share, definitely reach out, because I would like to know. I still have that part. If I ever have to lose it, I would want to reach out and find out. I just love how proactive you were about your health. I love that you took charge and got questions answered, and very impressed with how you handled it and how you handle most things.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Impressed, but I'm not surprised too.
Right.
With Sue taking charge, I ever since Pac CD, you always had those little notebooks. You always write down all your notes to do things you need to do. You're always on it. So thankfully you are coming out of this healthy and that you are able to share this, because there are women out there going through this, maybe afraid to do it or not going to the doctors even, right? And just toughing through it. So thankfully you're able to share this so that hopefully our audience or people that are out there can at least get some sense of understanding and a good feeling about, hey, this is an approach I can take. And for those of you that might want to ask more questions from Sue as well, we invite that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have to say, of all the planning, the one thing I did drop the ball on was that I didn't get my mom any chocolate. And I felt so bad. And so she had to ask a friend to go to Trader Joe's and get her some truffles because I always have candy and chocolate for her. And I guess I dropped the ball on that. And so I probably won't hear the end of
Aw.
it. Yeah. And then when my girlfriend came 3 weeks later, they were like, "Do you have any chocolate in the house?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh. Okay. I need to make sure when friends come to visit, I have plenty of dark chocolate and chocolate for them." So yeah, I felt bad for mom.
Well,
Oh,
in fairness, when I come to visit you, I'd rather have you have mashed potatoes on hand. I don't need the
Mashed
chocolate, I need the mashed
potatoes.
potatoes.
All right. That because I definitely don't have mashed potatoes, nor do I ever have them. So I will, and champagne. Don't worry, I have the champagne though, not mashed potatoes, but okay. And Tony, what would you
she'll gladly exchange the potatoes for the champagne, right?
Yeah, and what about you, Tony? What
Oh,
is
yeah.
your
I'm sorry, say that again, Sue.
what's your request when you come to visit?
Oh, gosh, you know me, I'm not picky. I can drink alcohol. I don't really need it, right? Water. That's all I say is have some water, and you have plenty of water for me.
Oh,
Endless water. And just a good girl time. And every time I hang out with you, it's always a good girl time. So I'm not picky.
okay.
Not at all.
Well, I'll be spoiling you girls. I like spoiling my guests.
Yes,
But
you
honestly,
do.
I hope that this subject, all about hysterectomies, recovery, the things no one tells you, hopefully it was helpful. Feel free to share this with all the women in your lives, all the ladies, because this is definitely more common than one would know for sure. And so I just, like you said, Cheese, I don't think people talk about it. So happy to talk about it. If anyone has other questions, wants to reach out, leave us some comments and I'll be happy to respond to you and, privately message you all my notes and my tips. So hopefully this was
Yeah.
helpful for you guys.
And if you're listening and thinking, wow, I need to hear this, then you're exactly why we're sharing these stories, right? This is about women supporting women. These are some of the stories that we're going to be sharing. And Sue firsthand has experienced something like this. So we welcome any questions that you guys have.
And hey, whether you've still got your uterus or not, remember, you've got a seat at this table.
Uterus or not.
That's right. Well, thanks for sitting at the table with us today and for giving yourself permission to heal.
Thanks for tuning in to Who's Sitting at Your Table. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, bring your glass of champagne or sparkling water if you're being good. I'm not being good.
And don't forget to follow, like, subscribe to our full episodes on YouTube, Spotify. We even are now on Amazon and Apple. So you can find us there. And of course, we're on all the other platforms where we advertise our shorts, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok as well.
That's right. So until next time, thank you all for listening. Have a great day.
Woot.
Bye.
Woot! Bye, everybody.
What's up?